What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're gonna go over how much money in modifications is sitting in my 2020 Toyota Supra. I've had a ton of comments on this video. I did it on my GTR and a lot of people wanted to see it on the Supra. So this car is basically a full bolt-on car making 450 wheel horsepower and 560 wheel torque. It is a beast of a vehicle. It really gets up to speed super fast and you can drift it like crazy, spin the tires whenever you want. It is a lot of fun. So I have everything written down. Let's get into it. All right, so let's begin underneath the hood with the first modification that I ever did with the Supra, which was the MST cold air intake. That'll set you back $318. That gave this car a lot of drama, a lot of nice new character that it was missing stock. You can hear the turbo now, the induction noise, the blow off noise. It was a really cool mod, super easy to do, and it doesn't require any tuning, so that is a really good first modification to do. Next up is the FTP Charge Pipe. That is an aluminum pipe which replaces the stock plastic one. Stock plastic one is a very cheap material. It could probably handle the stock car very fine. I don't think you'd have an issue with it, but especially with more boost and even just as time goes on with age, the cheap plastic I just don't think will hold up too well and it'll probably break at some point. So the aluminum one is a much better touch. And that pipe is $270. Next up, we have the A90 catless downpipe. That is $600. That deletes the factory catalytic converter that comes in this car, making this car technically straight pipe. And when you open up the exhaust like that, you can gain a lot of power with tuning. So that is definitely a nice must-have mod. Along with the exhaust, I have the Magnaflow xMod exhaust system. I absolutely love it. It is customizable, which is super cool. There's resonators in the back that you can swap out for straight pipes and really mix and match and make this exhaust sound exactly the way you want. With the valve closed, all the exhaust goes through one side, and that side I have a resonator. And then when the valve opens, it is 100% straight pipe, and it sounds so good. The pops are loud. There's a lot of drama to it. We have carbon fiber tips on the back. They look super good. Fitment is great. And the craziest thing with this exhaust, there is no drone whatsoever, even with the valve open. There's a piece welded onto the valve side that actually takes all these sound waves and cancels them out to where there's no drone. It's a fantastic exhaust. I love it. I think this is probably the best exhaust for this car. I am really happy with it. It's the second system I've had on this car. I have had a different brand, but I will say the Magnaflow definitely is the best one. So next on the list, we get into some tuning. Like I've mentioned before, 450 horsepower, 560 all at the wheels. This car is fast to say the least, and the full exhaust in the intake really helps once you tune the car. If you actually add just bolt-on parts, the way the ECU is designed, you're not gonna actually gain any horsepower. We dynoed this car with just the downpipe, and it makes no difference whatsoever as far as power. The ECU is designed on torque tables. It basically is designed for the engine produces power, and no matter what's in between the engine and the wheels, the engine is designed to literally put that power to the wheels at 350 and 400 stock. That's the way it's designed. So you do need a tune to actually maximize any of your performance parts. So I have the ECUTek tuning. Soho Motorsports did all the tuning with this car, dyno tuned, everything like that. The actual tuning with the dyno and everything is about $1,200. And then on top of that, I have the little plug kit that goes into the OBD2 port. That allows me to use the ECUTek app on my cell phone and gives me access to even update the tune using a Windows computer. And with the phone app, you can actually data log and things like that. That was only like $250. And that's all the power mods. So as you can see, it really doesn't cost that much to actually get the power out of the car. So then next up, more aesthetics, we have a set of H&R lowering springs. That honestly is one of the best things I have ever done to this car. They are $300 and they lower the car 1 inch all around, gives it a perfect wheel gap. It's about this much. I think it sits amazing the way it sits right now, especially with the wheels, which we'll talk about in a second. But those springs are slightly stiffer than stock, and the thing that I really liked about it, the stock suspension is too floaty. Going 100 miles an hour, the car feels really floaty. It doesn't feel like a performance car, you know, the way it should feel. With these springs lowering the car a little bit and stiffening it up a little bit, because you have that lower center of gravity, the car is now planted. So I would highly recommend do those springs, being that this car has magnetic ride with a sport mode and a normal mode for the damping. It's able to adjust for the lowered springs, and I've had no issues, no check engine lights or check suspension lights or anything like that. They sound the same, there's no noise or anything like that. I would absolutely recommend these springs. I don't think you need to waste the money on coilovers, especially because I love having the normal mode and the sport mode for suspension. That is fantastic. So those, very well, $300 spent. Next up, I guess we've already mentioned it, the wheels. These are my second set of ESR wheels. These are the RF15 wheels from ESR. They are custom powder coated in a satin red. I'll have all these specs down in the description. They fit the OEM tire and they sit perfectly flush with the car. I love the red. It was a bold design choice, but I wanted to do something a little bit crazy. The wheels, the way they sit, cost around $1,300, and then the custom powder coating, depending on if you have ESR do it or just get them coated yourself, a powder coating is going to be around $400. But I love the wheels, they definitely look amazing. And then on top of that, I have my stock brake calipers painted in the white, which I thought was a really cool touch. That cost me about 40 or 50 bucks. I bought the Super Wrap sprayable vinyl, which I did on the GTR as well. It's like a sprayable vinyl wrap pretty much. I've had no issues, and even being white with the crazy brake dust that the Supra emits, they clean so easy. It doesn't absorb the dust at all. You can literally wipe them off. They've been holding up fine. It's been, I don't even know, 5-6 months now, several thousand miles later, and they still look perfect. So I'm definitely happy with that. And it's a great way to change the color of your calipers without being committed and spending $500 on a custom powder coating. So I really like that touch. So next on the list is the paint and glass. So a month after buying the car, I had a full ceramic coating and paint protection applied, along with front end PPF, which is paint protection film. So all of that's gonna run you around $2,500 depending on your paint condition and what panels you get wrapped. My front bumper, the whole hood, the pieces behind the front wheels, the lower rocker panels, and the pieces behind the rear wheels are all covered in the SunTech paint protection film. It's really nice to have that. There are no stone chips up here. I can do whatever I want and nothing's gonna damage it, which is a really cool touch, especially being a brand new car. It's nice to keep the car in tip-top shape like this, and then the ceramic coating over everything. Whenever I wash this car, the water beads right off. It's so easy to keep clean. I would highly recommend that on any sports car. The wheels are also graphene coated, which is one step above ceramic, and they make it so easy to clean. So I definitely like that aspect. It keeps the car looking brand new, which is really cool. Over a year later, the car still looks amazing when I wash it. And then the glass, we have full window tint, 35% on the sides and back, and 70% on the windshield. That's gonna set you back around $550. This is the legit good film, the top-notch stuff. It blocks all the heat, everything like that, and it's amazing how you can be in direct sunlight and you just don't feel the sun, which I love. And then on top of that, we have glass parenting on all of the glass, which just like the ceramic coating on the paint, it makes it to where all the water beads right off. I don't even need to use my windshield wipers in the rain, it just beads right off. It's amazing. So then the last 4 things on the list are some minor carbon fiber modifications, little pieces here and there. So we have these ducts right here. They cover the stock plastic ones, finished off in carbon fiber. And then I have wind deflectors finished off in carbon fiber. You need these to make this car drivable with the windows down. I don't know why Toyota literally never test drove this car with the windows down when they developed it. But without these little wind deflectors, it sounds horrible. You hear the wind buffeting. These solve that issue, and they're finished off in beautiful dry carbon. And you also saw the red vinyl wrap on the mirrors. And then moving on to the interior, I have carbon fiber inlays around the steering wheel, giving it a really cool design. It's all around it and on the top. And then on the backs of these seats, I have the same thing, glossy carbon fiber. It looks really cool, and it matches well to the stock piece in the center. So all those carbon fiber pieces, they are $200 for the carbon fiber wind deflectors, $200 for the hood ducts, $240 for the seats, and then $240 for the steering wheel. So that's almost $900 worth of carbon fiber. They look cool and they blend really well with the car. I think they fit in super nicely. And the vinyl wrap on the mirrors, that's like 30 or 40 bucks worth of vinyl. But that's about it for the modifications and how much money is into the car. So if we total all those numbers up, I have it written down here, we're looking at $11,122. And when I was totaling up this number, I was not expecting $11,000. Yikes, these cars get addicting. That's just what happens when you buy a sports car that you really enjoy driving. You can modify them, and the A90 Supra is definitely a car that craves the mods, and it gets better with each modification. The cool thing is though, if you're only looking to do performance and power, it's not that expensive. You don't need a $600 downpipe. They make a lot of really good ones for the $400 range, and then you don't need the catback exhaust. It just makes it sound really good. The stock exhaust I don't think sounds that good with a downpipe. It's a little tinny, but you don't need one. And then the tuning, that is what it is because you want to get the best tuning. So for realistically $2,000, you can get this power number out of the car and make it a super fast car. My air intake, crazy enough, if we actually compare the stock box to this upgraded air intake once it's tuned, this intake actually gives it like 20 or 30 more wheel horsepower at the top end. The stock intake, it kind of starts dipping low. this intake, it stays nice and high, which was really cool. We compare this to my car and the shop's car when we had this tuned, so you're definitely gonna want that as well. And for 300 bucks, pretty easy and cheap to do. But yeah, that is it for performance and everything that's in my car. And then as far as the aesthetics, of course, your own wheels, the paint and stuff like that, you can do whatever you need. And then the lowering springs, I would definitely recommend that. For 300 bucks, you're gonna want that. But there you go, guys, $11,000 in my Supra. Were you guys expecting that number? I was thinking it was gonna be like 6 grand. Yeah, my own thoughts were even wrong. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button, and stay tuned for plenty more videos to come. I'll see you guys next video.